If you're joining me live, go ahead and say hi. I really want to know who's here. If you're joining me via a replay, then go ahead and do hashtag replay in the comment section. And if you're watching this on a watch party, then definitely go ahead and put hashtag watch party. So as you come in, say hi. It's going to be a really great training. And if you are a first-time author or you know somebody who's writing their book, definitely go ahead and tag them in this so that they can get access to this information. So I just shared that. Just as you're coming in, go ahead and say hi, guys. I don't know if I'm seeing all the comments because, of course, I am on my laptop. Okay. And if you haven't yet heard, I don't know where you have been under the rock, but my 9th book was published this week. So if you are yet to receive a copy of it, go on over to bit.ly/idea to publish. That's bit.ly/idea to publish book, and you'll be able to get your copy. So get your copy. Let me put that in the comment section at bit.ly/idea to publish book. Okay, that should, oh, I'm finally seeing the comments now. Hi, Randy, how are you doing? All right, so let me pin that. All right, so From Idea to Publish is a book that outlines my 127-step checklist that's going to help you to get from the point of that idea in your head to the point of being a published author. And so a lot of the things I'm talking about today are part of that actual checklist itself, but I want to delve deeper into some other things so as to help you to brainstorm and gain clarity in writing the right book. As authors, if it is that you want to be an author, I know that you have plenty of book ideas. I consult with people all the time, and oftentimes they're like, I have so many ideas. And I know that to be true because once you have the author's mindset, you're going to have that. I have plenty of book ideas. I wish I had all the time in the world to just write my books, but I don't. And at the end of the day, I have to make a decision every single time I say I'm going to spend time writing a specific book and publish a specific book. I have to consider a multitude of various different issues to really come to the point of saying this is going to be the right book to publish for this specific brand or this specific platform that I'm working with. And so it's going to be the same for you as you go forward. Now, it's going to be even more confusing for you if you're a first-time author, because the thing with people who have published books before is they've gotten one out of the way, so they're okay with picking any one to be the second one, right? But when you are a first-time author, what ends up happening is you really don't know which one you should really go with first. And so whether it's your second or your third book, but particularly if it's your first book, we're going to be talking about that 3-part test that you ought to be associating with your book. That's really, 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 really important. And you're going to find that it's not going to be very much centered around, at the end of the day, it's not going to be really centered around what you want, but at the end of the day, it's going to be centered around, are you going to be able to really sell this book? And that's going to be really important at the end of the day, right? So the first thing is how you go about going about brainstorming and gaining clarity in writing the right book is you first want to write a book that you're knowledgeable about. It seems like a no-brainer, right? Who would write a book that they're not knowledgeable about, right? But when we talk about knowledge, we want to look at it in the sense that you have the expertise for this very specific book. One of the things that readers are going to look at in picking a book is, why should I listen to you? It's almost the same decision you taking. Why do you hire this coach? Why do you hire this ghostwriter? Why do you want to go to this restaurant? Or what are they known for? Is the chef any good at Chinese food? Like, nobody wants to go into a Chinese restaurant and when they look behind there, it's somebody like me, for example, you probably question whether or not I really know how to cook Chinese food, right? So knowledge is not just only what you think you know, but also how you're able to express your expertise so that people will actually take up this book and actually go ahead and buy it. Okay, so let's take, for example, an author who has just published their book, decide to turn around and write a book on publishing, right? Sure, you have some knowledge associated with publishing a book, but you really don't have the type of knowledge and expertise that's going to get readers to say, hey, I need to get this, because if she's an author, then I know she knows what she's talking about. That's not necessarily the case. So when you're thinking about writing a book, especially if it's based around anything related to your business or it's an informational content, you want to make sure you are the authority on it. You really know what you are talking about. If it's a book that's centered on your life story, then of course that is something that you really do know about. But you want to be very, very calculated with when you're actually writing your life story, to make sure that there are certain things that you have actually either overcome, or what it is that you're telling people or teaching people through your life story is something that you can say with authority, once again, and with the knowledge that, hey, this is how it actually is, and this is what makes sense. One of the things when I decided I wanted to write autism books is that I knew I wasn't coming to the table as somebody that had knowledge based on saying I was a speech therapist. I wasn't a speech therapist. I wasn't a behavioral therapist. I wasn't even a trained teacher. And these are all professionals that people in that industry and people in that community will actually listen to. But what I came with is not just basic information. I didn't come with just, ooh, I have a son with autism. I have 3, okay? And so that positioned me in the marketplace as an authority, as opposed to, say, somebody who just has 1. So you see what I'm talking about when I'm talking about knowledge and choosing that right book? You want to really be in that position. I'll give you even a better example. When I wrote my first book, My Son Has Autism, that was based on my grieving process. And that was different. And I never felt, for a very long time, I didn't feel like I could go ahead and write another book. The other book that I'm launching early next year is called Autism Happens. And that is going to actually take into consideration all the things that I have been doing as a mom with my 3 kids, and being able to use various different systems and hacks, parenting hacks, I call them, to really be able to manage autism in my home. Now, I could not have written that book in 2015. Why? Because I hadn't even been a year yet experiencing being a parent of autistic kids. And that is when I talk about knowledge. We're not just saying, well, yeah, I know this, I know this. You want to really be in a position that when people read your bio, they're like, yeah, I want to hear what she has to say, right? Because when I say to you, I have 3 kids that are autistic, and I then say to you, my eldest son, who never spoke until he was 5, is now a full verbal, high-functioning child, reading at grade level, going into general education, doing all these various different things. My twins are doing the same, reading and academically advanced based on their own grade level. Those are all things that position me as an authority. As much as I'm talking about my life, right? As much as I'm talking about my life, I am actually positioning myself as an authority. And so even if it's your life story, you really want to make sure you're at the point of authority, okay? So if you're talking about, I'll give you a good example. I don't know if he's here. I don't want to mention his name, but I'm working on an ebook for a client that's talking about overcoming rejection. Don't write a book about overcoming rejection if you haven't overcome rejection, okay? Those are the type of things I'm talking about when we talk about knowledge, because you might end up writing the wrong book at the wrong time because you yourself haven't overcome. And I can tell you this much, that your reader is going to be able to identify that in your manuscript. You feel like you have overcome and you haven't, and immediately the reader can can pick up on that based on what you're saying inside the book. So your knowledge is not just about what you think you know, it's also about what it is that that reader is going to perceive as they go about reading it. So if it's your life story, make sure you have healed, right, sufficiently to be in a position to help your readers. Make sure that you're providing that type of information that's going to really position you as an authority on that theme or topic connected to your life, right? Don't just believe that because it's your life that I want to read it. If you have not broken down this very barriers you're telling me to break down, if you have not overcome and telling me how to overcome, that's going to be an issue, okay? So make sure the first thing you do is you want to brainstorm and gain clarity on what are those topics that you know you have knowledge about, all right? The second thing is passion, 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 all right? And you'll hear this a lot. You'll hear this a lot. Passion is, it is going to literally canvas everything you do with your book. If you are not passionate about a topic, you are not going to market that book. I guarantee you it. And it's why it's important that before you even write a word, you make sure that that book and that topic that you're going to write on is something you are passionate about. And I'll give you a perfect example. As much as I'm a parent of autistic kids, you will never hear me write a book about immunization. You will not hear me write a book about what is the why does autism happen. I won't write a book on that. Do you know why? Because I'm not passionate about those areas associated with the autism community. And so I leave that for other people to write those type of things, right? I am focused on, my goal as an autism writer is to focus on those solutions that are going to actually help parents in the home, all right? That's what I am passionate about. And so as much as there's so many things I could write about, if it doesn't directly affect how a parent is able to cope and manage their children with autism, then more likely I'm not going to write on it because I'm not passionate about it. Now, I might be passionate about it later on, but if I'm not passionate about it now, do not write on a topic if you're not passionate about it. And this is going to really strike at people who have been told they should write a book. They've been told they should write a book on this or they should write a book on that. And they jump ahead and say, well, people have been telling me to write a book on this. But if you are not passionate about it, it's going to come through in your writing. When people talk about writer's block, you don't get writer's block on a topic that you're passionate about. I'm just going to tell you that up front. You do not get writer's block on a topic that you are passionate about, okay? You want to write that book and you want to write it immediately, okay? So you want to make sure whichever topic you're focusing on, once it passed that knowledge threshold, it needs to then pass that passion threshold. There are tons of things that I know that I'm not passionate about and I will never write about, right? But you want to definitely make sure of that. The other element when passion is going to come really, really important is when you're marketing your book, all right? When you're marketing your book, when I walk into a room, I tell people, hey, listen, you need to get from idea to publish. Yeah, you need to buy it because it's going to really help because it's going to walk you through step by step. It's 127 steps to get you to being self-published. I created this list myself. I use it myself. My clients use it. My team use it. Guess what? I'm passionate about this. I will walk into a room and I will sell you this like never before. Why? I am passionate about it. I know what is inside it. I know what value it can actually bring to that person. And I want that person to get the results that I know this book is going to give to them. That is the net result of passion. And so a lot of times when I work with already published authors and we talk about their book plan and their marketing plan, and you can quickly realize the books they're not passionate about. They wrote them, but they're not passionate about it. Let me tell you something what's going to happen with a book that you're passionate about. Just over the weekend, I was at a book fair, and there are people, I went up to them, and when I went to their table and started to ask them about their books, I knew they weren't passionate about it. Okay, I knew they weren't passionate about it because they didn't convince me to buy it. Right? They weren't very passionate about it. Either they were shy or otherwise, but they weren't really passionate about it. And you have to get passionate about the book that you're about, because you want to make sure, you want this person to buy the book even if they have no intention of buying the book. All right. I remember a lady came to my table and she was like, I don't know if I'm ready yet, or if I said, you need to get this now, because you're now right in front of the book that's going to help you write your book. So you need to get this done. And she was like, okay, I guess I'll get it. I knew she walked away thinking, wow, she really, really convinced me to buy this book, right? But that's what passion will do. When you're talking about your book, people feed into that passion, even if they don't read the book, right? The point is you got the sale. Why? Because you're passionate about it. It's something you feel, not just you and your own internal passion, but the passion that that person is going to get the results that they need. That's the biggest part of it, right? Because sometimes we can feel passionate about the topic, and we can feel passionate about the book that we have created, and we feel a joy surrounding it. But do we feel and know that this person is going to get the results? Do we know that this person is going to be encouraged when they read our book? Do we know that they're going to be inspired when they read our book? Do we know that this is going to happen when they read their book? Do I know that you're going to know step by step what it is you need to do to get to publish when you get this book? Yes, I know you're going to know. Why? Because I know, right? And so if you don't have that sense of passion and knowing those results are going to happen, people will actually feed into that and they'll know it's not there. So you're very timid. So this is my book. It's for $10 or it's for $20. Ain't nobody trying to buy no book from you. If you're not excited about your own book, you need to get excited about your book. And so on that note, if it is that you haven't yet received your copy yet of From Idea to Publish, go ahead and get it. If you have a friend who's a first-time author who's writing their book now, buy it for them and gift it to them. They will love you for it. All right. The third and final thing, and how is it you go about brainstorming and gaining clarity in writing your book. And let me tell you something, I'm not a good salesperson. People might say, I don't believe you, Grace. I don't this, I don't that. But this is my thing. I'm not a salesperson. When I consider a salesperson, I consider somebody who can sell anything. That's what I call a salesperson. People who sell anything. I am somebody who I can sell what I'm passionate about, right? That's really important. So if you tell me to go sell lotion or jewelry, or I might not be the best at that, but tell me to go sell my book. Oh, I will walk into a room and I will go up to people and tell them they need to get this book. Why? Because it's all me. It's all my passion. I poured everything into this book, right? I pour everything into all of my books. So I am very proud of it, and that's going to spill out, right? So that's just an added point I just wanted to stress to you in case you're sitting there thinking, oh, she's just a really good salesperson. No, I'm not. I hate sales. Would never take a sales job. Don't hire me to do no sales job. But when it comes down to selling my book, because I'm passionate about what I'm writing about, then you're going to actually see that in how I talk about my book, all right? The third and final thing in how to brainstorm and gain clarity. So now you know, so you're picking a topic and a book centered around a topic that you have knowledge about, and then you're making sure that topic is something you are passionate about. The third thing is something that you can actually sell. This is something you can actually sell. So when people say to me, which book should I write? Because I have so many book topics. Which book should I write? And when we go through this process of, does this topic fit into your knowledge base to the point that both yourself, you are very comfortable about writing it because you have the expertise, and also your readers are going to see that you have the expertise before they even start to read the book. And then when it passed that stage and we're like, is this something you're really passionate about? Why do you really want to write this book? And as you hear the person start to talk about why they want to actually write you this book, the next test you have to put it through is, can you sell this book? Because let's just be realistic about it. And I put this out on Facebook, I think today. After you have published your book and your friends and your family have actually purchased the book, what's next? What's next? What's next for you, right? What's next for you? Because can you actually sell this book? And it's the reason why for a very long time, I did not write a book around self-publishing. I just didn't. Because as much as I was online, I still was building my platform to a very particular level. Now I have zero issues selling a book on self-publishing. Not only have I achieved the knowledge base that I need to achieve it, I'm also passionate about it, but I have a platform that I can sell it to. These are not my friends and my family. These are people who have followed me, who are committed to following me, who know I know what I'm talking about. And it's like, no, it's a no-brainer for them to go and actually sell that book. Do you have that? Do you have that? And there's much talk about using your book to build your brand and all these various different things. But at the end of the day, let's just be truthful about it. If you don't have a platform, and it doesn't have to be a platform you own, it must be an audience that you're connected to in some way, means, and form, preferably online, that you can actually sell this book to. Take, for example, my autism book. I am a member of probably close to about 200 Facebook groups centered on autism. I am a member of groups in Australia, the United Kingdom, Canada, the Caribbean, everywhere, right? Because I'm an advocate, and I was an advocate for a very long time for Autism Speak, it positioned me in these various different groups. So I have developed connections with these various different admins and people in these groups and stuff like that all over the world, okay? So when it is that I put out an autism book, I have a platform to sell it to. Do you have a platform to sell this book to? And that is why it's so important that you start to actually, as part of the process of getting to be an author or wanting to actually produce a book, that you really make sure that you're starting to build that platform by going live and posting about stuff and all these various different things. It's going to be so important, because once your friends and your families have purchased your book, what's next? You have to sell it to somebody. All right. So the third point in really being able to know if you're actually going to write the right book is do you have a platform to sell this book? All right. And if you don't have a platform, do you have a very strategic plan to actually get to that audience? Because if you don't have the audience now, it's not to say that you cannot write the book, but do you have a plan to reach that audience? And does it include a marketing plan with a sensible amount of income to get it done? Right? Because now you're going to have to potentially look at going to events, doing all these various different things to start to actually build that community around you. Let me tell you something, and this is not even to try to discourage people. This is for you to put in the work that is necessary to get this done. Let me just tell you this plain and straight. If people don't know you from Adams, it's very questionable as to whether they will actually purchase your book. All right. They're going to say, oh, nice, you wrote a book, right? It's why your friends and your families buy your book, right? But people who don't know you are going to be like, well, who are you? I don't know who you are. Why should I trust you that you're going to give me the information that you say and you're going to give me that information? You see what I'm saying? So if you are going into that space and you're going into a quote unquote new space that you have not been in, that people don't, you haven't built a platform, you haven't built relationships, nothing like that, you're going to have a very hard time, okay, selling that book. You're going to even have a harder time as you go out, even at events, and try to sell your books as well, right? Because people are very skeptical. And so they're going to look at you and know, hey, I know you're not going to give me what it is that I potentially want, okay? So always look at how you're going to be able to sell this book and whether or not you can sell this book. Is this a book that your friends and your family alone will want, or is this a book that you know your audience will actually buy just by virtue of you even just telling them what it's about, right? Just by virtue of you giving them a synopsis of what your story is about. That's going to always be important, all right? So I trust that those 3 points really help you in kind of being able to gain the type of clarity that you need to make sure that you are indeed writing that right book, all right? And so if you haven't yet, you're writing your book, you're not sure about what the next step is, you're not sure about all the steps to actually publishing your book, go ahead and get From Idea to Publish. It's the ultimate author's checklist to write and publish a non-fictional book. You can get that bit.ly/idea to publish book. That's bit.ly/idea to publish book. It is currently available for $10. That price is going to increase next week to $20. Okay, so get it now, and you'll also, when you order today, you will also get a nice little gift that I will have inside your envelope for you when it gets to your doorstep. All right, but it's a really good book that's going to really help you. This is not one of those books that you just read. This is a book that's a literal checklist. So you're going to be using it. It's going to be well used, right? It's going to be well used as you go through the various different points to get you from idea to publish, right? I trust that was helpful for you, and I definitely look forward to connecting.